Welcome to One on One. I'm Greg Bassey, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. It's a big day here at PAC 14. One of my favorite people in the whole world. I'm a big fan. Dr. Mary D. Bartolo is here today. Welcome, Dr. D. Bartolo.
Thank you for having me, Greg. I did not realize I was one of your favorite people, but I'm so honored.
Well, your show, Focus on Health, right here on this network, PAC 14, I love it. And it's a show that I'd never understood for a while. But once I turned around 50, the show sort of made sense to me. Like, I would see problems that I would have being discussed on your show, and I watch it, and you all just celebrated the 300th edition of the show?
Yes, we have 300 shows later. Now, I didn't do the first year's worth.
Right.
Dr. Selfdiagnosis had started the program, and I was a guest a few times.
Right.
And then she stepped up into a leadership role in 2003, and I said, I'm happy to take it over. It's just been a great experience, and I've learned a lot myself.
Well, being the host of a show, you never really talk about yourself much. So tell us, who are you, and what is the association that you have with the university and the show?
I was born and raised in Baltimore. I went to Towson University. It was Towson State back then for nursing. And then I met my husband, and he was teaching here at Salisbury University in the business school and soccer coach. So when we got married, I moved down here. And I worked in nursing homes for a bit, doing various things. I ran a home health agency, private duty agency, I should say. And then I had an opportunity to teach at SU. So in 1995, I took a nursing position there as an instructor, and I've moved my way up. I've been there 25 years, starting, I think next year is my 25th year. And so way back when, I've just always been about education and health. In fact, when I worked in the nursing home business, one of my first jobs, I was an in-service director, which meant I provided staff training. That was my primary role, and I loved it. I've always loved teaching. So I love being a professor, and then when I had an opportunity to step in and take over the show, because I firmly believe that you can take charge of your health, and be proactive and do healthy things for yourself and see your doctor when you need to and so forth. So that's why I'm still there. Plus, it's great to work with Craig Twilley. He started the program with Lisa, and he's been still there with me,
Right.
filming all the shows and all. We just have a good time doing it too.
Now, one of the things you do a lot is you do cooking episodes where you do different diet stuff, especially for people like me who are old. How your metabolism changes and what you eat. You can't eat crazy stuff anymore. Talk about that. How'd you get that idea? Because there's a lot of work that goes into those kitchen episodes.
Absolutely. Well, the first thing I want to say is I've always felt like you are what you eat. Nutrition's very important. So I did a few shows with some local dietitians where I went to what was then Giant, and we would roam the aisles and learn how to read nutrition labels. So then Craig and I started talking and said, let's take it to the next step and show people how to actually prepare foods. So we did some episodes at my house, and then we decided to partner with Mac Incorporated and Carla Beardsley over there.
She's great.
I know, she's fabulous. And so she said, hey, come use our kitchen when they did that big renovation.
Right.
And now it's great. Every quarter we meet over there. We get 3 dietitians to come and show healthy meal preparation. And Carla in particular loves to do shows with focus on helping seniors, cook on a budget and cook safely and those kind of issues. So we've been doing that since 2018, I think. And I think those shows do well. I think they're important because it is important what you put into your body to maintain health.
Well, and it's inspiring because what I do, I lapse into this thing where I'll buy lean cuisines. These packaged dinners because it's easy and it's cheap, and I don't have to cook. But it inspires me to maybe I can do more in terms of like buying some simple ingredients and cooking. It doesn't take a lot of time, and it would be really great for me.
Right. Well, my favorite show that Carla did was the rotisserie chicken show.
Oh, that's great.
She did 3 things with a rotisserie chicken, to me, which is very economical. You buy 1 rotisserie chicken, and you make bone marrow broth, and she made chicken salad with it. And I mean, it was just amazing. And she tries to do programs where people can make a lot out of something. And, on a budget, too.
Right. One show I really enjoyed recently was with Dr. Chris Snyder, who's on a lot. He's a hospitalist at PRMC.
Yes.
And he does health communications. He's really good at being able to articulate stuff. But you guys did a great show, and Mary doesn't know where I'm going with this, a great show about self-diagnosing yourself on the internet.
Oh, yes. That was, yeah.
Now, I do this all the time. I'll enter my symptoms in, and every time it comes up, you have cancer. That's what it says. That's whatever I have, like an ingrown toenail, you have cancer. I mean, everything is...
Well, you're going to the wrong site then.
But I'm sure people do this where
I do it occasionally.
Right.
Like,
Well,
okay.
They type their symptoms in and it comes up with this horrible, negative, awful thing. And I think it's the internet is actually bad, but you guys talked about how it was good.
Well, there's some very good websites out there.
And it was bad. But I do know that I'm able to type in my symptoms, and when I get to the doctor, I know enough to have a conversation. It's not a big mystery, at least, so it's good with that. But I swear, everything I have, it comes up cancer.
I don't know what to say about that, but all I know is it's good to go in to see the doctor with some information.
Right.
And write down your questions ahead of time, so you can ask good questions. We know these days doctors have limited time to actually sit down with patients, so it's nice to be prepared.
Right.
I think that's the moral of that story, and that there are good internet websites for health information.
Now, do people complain to you about the overall medical industry on Delmarva because you're sort of an authority on this because you're the person on TV?
Well, I don't know if I'm an authority on the medical situation on Delmarva, but...
It feels like the practices are pretty busy.
Yeah.
Crowded. It's hard to get an appointment. It's hard to
Right.
get in to see a doctor. I mean, is that normal everywhere, or is it
I think it's
special to
normal
us?
everywhere overall, but generally the ruralness of us, where there's so fewer physicians compared to metropolitan areas, and it is hard to recruit doctors down here. It's unfortunate. I think they're working on that.
Right.
Whoever they is,
Whoever they is.
PRMC. I mean, they're starting to have a lot of doctors' practices under their umbrella, and they know it's hard to recruit, but hopefully they'll be improving the incentive package so we can have more physicians here, especially specialists. It's
Right.
really tough
Right.
to see a dermatologist or an endocrinologist. It can take several months.
Yeah,
to get an
dermatology
appointment.
appointment is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I've always been heard from doctors is that we're unique in terms of our health here locally. One is farmers' watermen in the sun, a lot of skin cancer.
Yep.
Our water table is high. Water is not great in a lot of locations. That might perhaps be something that could contribute to cancer. A lot of smoking here, which certainly contributes to cancer. And our fatty diet. We
Exactly.
fry everything. And
Yeah, Dr. Hearn and I talk about
Okay.
this a lot. And he's a cardiologist
Right.
with Delmarva Heart, and he talks about all these things that keep cardiologists fairly busy around here. And I also remember him telling me, make sure you filter your water because water's important and
Right.
it may not be of the best quality overall. So I take advice of most of my guests,
Right.
and I've learned a lot from the show. And the other thing I love about our program, and I'm hoping we get to do more of these types of shows, is the surgery programs. I think they're very enlightening, where people can see a certain procedure. I know we have a bit of a partnership with Peninsula Regional Medical Center, and we try to work with them on showcasing certain procedures that are newer to the area so people don't feel like they have to leave the shore to get a particular procedure.
Well, example, Dr. Hearn. Now, I had heart block, and they weren't sure exactly what caused it. The electrical system in my heart was screwed up. And they went in and did the thing just to check my veins, and Dr. Hearn did it. And I went to PAC 14 and watched the YouTube video where he does like a stent procedure. So what I had was similar to that. He did it for me, and I was able to see the surgery on TV in advance, so I knew what I was getting into. I mean, it was an amazing thing. So when they brought the machines in, I was like, oh yeah, I recognize that machine. And if you go to YouTube now, it's the most popular thing that PAC 14's ever done. It's like 700,000 views on that thing.
Yeah, the hip, I think the hip or the knee is up in that range
Right.
as well. And then the other exciting thing we did last year was Dr. Shakur, who was
brain
born and
surgeon.
raised in
Yes.
Salisbury, and now
Yes.
she's a brain surgeon.
Yes.
And she came back to practice here and did a brain aneurysm clipping. Especially because it showcased Peninsula Regional's new neuro
Right.
surgical unit
Which
in
is
the
just
OR.
amazing.
It's awesome. Yeah, it was really, I thought that was really a great program.
Yeah, it's great how you take us into those things so you see it. You did a thing on, what's the thing you get on your eye?
Cataract?
Cataracts, which, I haven't had cataracts yet. but
It's coming.
but I'm sure I will.
Knowing you.
And when it does, I can go to the YouTube page for PAC 14, watch your show, and see a local medical provider doing a cataract thing. It's really amazing what you're doing with that.
Thank you. What to me is amazing is when we started this all back in 2002, 2003, these programs were only available, on the PAC 14 channel. you know, and then finally we started seeing them on the internet, on video on demand, on the
Right.
PAC14 website. And now that they're on YouTube, it's just amazing. Because I said even way back when that if one person watches a show and makes a positive health change, I feel like I've achieved something.
Right.
And now I feel like it's so much more far-reaching than it ever was with YouTube and the internet and so forth.
Right. But it's enlightening too. It's stuff that, like, there was one you did on sexually transmitted diseases, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to really want to watch this. But I learned so much, and it's a reflection on what's going on in the community, these problems that people have, and lifestyle things that I can't comprehend. But you did it in a really, scientific way, a thoughtful way, as a community, enlightening exercise. And it was done really well.
Well, thank you. It works out that I have a nice relationship with the Wicomico County Health Department, and they'll just email me, Dr. Cockey or Lori Brewster, and they'll just say, hey, this is an issue that's come up. Can we do a show? And usually Craig and I can accommodate them within a week to get the word out if it is something that the community needs to know about.
Now, you've got a Fitbit on, so I assume you do a lot of exercising yourself, or you just thin naturally?
Well, I think genetics has a little bit to do with it. I had two, thinner parents, and I've never really had to fight a weight problem, but I stay active too.
Right, you're very active. Your husband's an athlete. Your kids are athletes.
Well, I don't know. Well,
I used to see you playing golf all the time.
Yeah, I play golf some. I play tennis
and
now.
And you walk. You're not in a cart. You're out there walking.
I'm walking. Yeah. I also started running. I'm not sure how smart that was, but I run about 3 times a week, and I do a few races, just to see where I need to improve, because I never finished first, and that's okay. I'm getting in an upper age group, so I'm just happy to finish. And yeah, I'm trying to exercise more. It's an important part, especially as you age. You got to stay moving. Right. They say a stream stays alive by moving. You got to keep moving.
I'm a stagnant creek. I really am.
Well, you can do it.
And I started running. I just got crazy, and I ran and ran and ran, and I lost 70 pounds.
Wow.
Just from running. I kept eating bad stuff. But
just like Forrest Gump running? Just
basically, yeah, because I needed to run or my head was going to explode.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I run. I lose the 70 pounds, and then suddenly I wasn't angry anymore, and I didn't have to run anymore. So I gained 80 pounds back, then I'm huge, and then last spring I decided, this is ridiculous, I can't live like this. So I lose 30 pounds, and then I got stuck. So what I did to lose 30 pounds was not exercise, I just stopped eating dumb stuff.
That's a big part of it,
paid
what
attention,
you put in.
I stopped eating, I cut out the soft drinks, I changed my coffee order in the morning to just, dark coffee, plain black coffee, just little stuff like that, and it worked great. And then I got stuck, and now I've developed this horrible sugar addiction. I need some advice on this. I don't know how this works. I stopped one night on the way home at a mini mart to get gas, and I went in and I saw some sweet tarts, and I thought, man, I haven't had sweet tarts since I was a kid. I wonder what they're like. And now I've become addicted to sweet tarts. I buy sweet tarts every day. It's ridiculous.
I don't know. Sounds like you need some counseling on this.
But
professional.
But I was just reading the other day. I was like, what's going on? But sugar, it's like as addicting.
It's highly addicting.
As a cocaine or as a caffeine or.
It is. There's all kinds of research on that.
Yes. Yep. So, what can I do to break this sugar habit? Do you need to do a sugar show? Would that be an idea?
A sugar show.
I'll
look into that. I'll talk to Carlo on that. Let's do a sugar show to help Greg Bassett kick his sugar habit. Yeah. But I mean, it's hard. I mean, I gave up sodas and things.
Right.
Because it's just such a high source of sugar, and it's empty calories. It has no other nutritional value.
But it's beyond empty calories. It's more of an addiction thing.
And it has caffeine in it. A lot of sodas.
Right.
I don't know. I drink my coffee every morning, but I stay away from sugary drinks. That's a big step in the right direction.
Well, I need help with this sugar thing.
Okay.
So
I don't know. You're going to have to just stop eating sweet tarts. I'm just glad you didn't tell me you walk into the grocery store and just buy a 5-pound bag of sugar. That's where I thought that was going. But anyway.
But have you heard of this before? I mean, people have
sugar addictions.
Are they aware of it? Maybe they're just doing it subtly, or
I'm
very conscious of it.
I've done a lot of reading on this and had a lot of guests, and I feel like there's a general food addiction going on. People also have an addiction to food, and they're eating for the wrong reasons, comfort and psychological.
I love to eat,
Yeah, and I mean, I love to eat too, but, you have to get to a point where there's portion control and you know when to stop, and eating fast is not good because your brain doesn't have time to tell you I'm full. And I mean, there's so many things, just simple common sense things that people can do to
Right.
take better care of their bodies in that regard. And then exercising, and it doesn't have to be marathons or whatever. It can be just burning some calories, 3-4 times a week.
Get a Fitbit and walk
Yeah,
10,000 steps a day.
I know the other day, for the first time in about 3 weeks since I've been wearing it, it went crazy on my arm. And I'm like, what is that? I didn't read the manual, I have to admit. And then I look at it, it says like 10,000 steps. I'm like, wow, this is the first time,
Yeah.
But I mean, I do walk a lot. I do some work at my desk for my job because I'm preparing lectures
Right.
and things. But when I'm not at work, I'm very active and busy. Yet I know when to relax too. I think that's another skill people don't, appreciate as much, as the importance of learning how to relax, reduce stress.
Right.
Whether it's yoga or whatever you like to do in the evening to just kind of chill.
See, now, growing up, relaxation was considered like a vice almost.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a selfish thing.
We're from that generation.
Yeah, I mean, so how do you counsel that?
You just have to change your mindset and realize how important it is. All this emphasis on meditation, yoga, mindfulness, just getting in touch with yourself and just learning how to relax, because stress is really, a problem. Especially, when it leads to weight gain because of the cortisol levels increase.
Right.
And then that causes the center obesity.
Right.
That's a physiological fact. So when you see people that are just gaining weight in the midsection, oftentimes you wonder, gee, they must be under a lot of stress.
And she
and
keeps
you have to
looking at
make
me
an
when
effort.
she says that, so yes.
No, I'm looking at you because I have to.
She's
You're
looking
the
at my
host.
midsection. as
You're
she
the
says
host.
that.
I'm not used to being the interviewee. This is kind of fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm so happy you had me on.
Thank you. Now, what are the what kind of shows do you have coming up? Do you have like a plan for the year, or how do you do
No,
this?
I kind of do them as they come. I mean, we did our 3 cooking shows earlier this month, and to be honest, sometimes this time of year it's hard to get physicians and practitioners on post-holidays. And
Yeah.
the summer, the same. People are covering for vacations or on vacations themselves. So I have to sit down one day once I get myself ready for my own semester, which starts for the spring, to kind of, I'll email some of my old reliables.
Right.
People have been on the program several times, and I'll say, hey, you ready to come back? Because there's some people that are very natural at it, and they enjoy doing it.
Right.
And I promise them if they come here, it'll just take an hour of their time. Because I know everyone's time is very precious. So I'll be coming up with a plan soon and hopefully have some good shows. I'm also hoping to get another surgery show or 2 on the docket this year.
I'm trying to think if I need any procedures done.
Yeah, let me know, and I'll give a call and see if I can get that one taped.
that you could record me. That would be good.
Yeah, prostate, what are you
Yeah.
thinking?
One of the, well, there's that.
Yeah,
But
I mean, men usually complain about that as they get to a certain age.
well, in one of those small world things, when I was a kid, Dr. Hearn, I grew up around Dr. Hearn, and he was 2 years younger than me. And we used to make fun of him on the school bus.
Steve Hearn?
Yes, and because he was tall
Tall,
and lanky,
yes.
and they used to make fun of him. And I never directed any of the insults in his direction, but I participated certainly. So when you're laying there on the table and he's going to jam things into you, you have to hope that he doesn't remember.
Yeah, or you may want to find somebody else. But no, I highly recommend Dr. Hearn. I already told him if I ever have a heart issue, I'll be knocking on his door.
Right.
We have some excellent doctors in the area.
We really do.
And honestly, people just are quick to criticize because we're rural. But
Right.
actually, we have a lot of really great doctors and services available, and nonprofits in the area to provide various things. Salisbury's really a great town for that.
Yeah, my father was one of those guys who would go to Hopkins for everything. I'm not going to that Salisbury hospital. But the protocol they had him on was the same one that they would have done here.
Exactly.
He could have just done it here. It was all the same stuff off the shelf. The doctors are all doing the same stuff.
There's probably a few things I would go to Hopkins or Mercy, whatever. It's a very, a more rare condition or a specialized surgery or newer technique. Sometimes you may want to go off the shore, but for many things, Peninsula Regional, is right up there.
Right. Now, I give them a lot of credit. They're doing the big consolidation thing with Nanticoke. They're bringing McCready in. But there's so much focus that Peninsula Regional has on educating the public, to keep them out of the hospital, to have them go to the local centers and
Right.
do a lot of their care at home and that kind of stuff, to keep people from having to be admitted. And they're very proactive about that. And there's lots of great things that go on there.
Right, they established a population health focus.
Right.
In
Dr.
fact,
Fiddler, Kathy
yes,
Fiddler,
she's
who
one
does
of
a
my former
terrific job.
DNP students,
Okay.
and she's doing quite well,
Right.
over there, trying to get everyone in the right direction as far as where healthcare is going nationwide.
She writes a little column for our paper.
Oh, okay.
And she wrote a column around Christmas time where she had fallen and broken her hand or arm or whatever. Something bad had happened. But it was very funny in terms of how she did it. Like, this can happen to anybody, even a doctor.
Yep, it happens to any of us.
Tell me more about the nursing program at SU, because from what I hear, the reputation is really good that you all produce some really quality students.
Yes, you just mentioned Kathy Fiddler. Now, she's from our DNP program, and that's more recently of development. So that's going very strong. But our undergraduate program with our second degree piece, that's our bread and butter. We've been doing that, since the dawn of time, since we were founded. And we just had our 40th anniversary last year.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course, one of the things we're most proud of is our NCLEX pass rate, which is the licensing exam. We've been the highest in the state, 5-year average, for several years now, and that includes, University of Maryland and Hopkins and things like that. So we're very proud of that. And we're also proud in general of just our graduates. We get so much positive feedback from employers who tell us how prepared they are.
Yeah.
And I think it's, they get a strong background in medical surgical nursing as well as all the other specialties. They get a good bit of clinical time. And I just think they're very well rounded. We do a good job in that final semester to really prepare them for the real world.
Yeah, and we're really lucky too. The Warwick program has very high accolades in terms of its the people it produces.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that all benefits our community in terms of these people staying, hopefully, and doing work here locally.
Yep.
One of my favorite things about Focus on Health is that you bring in a lot of the nonprofits, that you give them some publicity and talk about their good work. What are some of your favorite nonprofits that you like to have on?
We've had Coastal Hospice on to talk about, end-of-life care, palliative care, and so forth. We have people on from MAC a good bit.
Yeah, you've given great attention to the MAC Center.
Yeah, I just think we really need to start focusing on our aging population.
Right.
Especially here. Our numbers are going up, and we need to be more supportive of that population. And MAC is doing a great job with all the various programs they do. In fact, I recently did a show where we showcase the gym. That's available for seniors to use.
Yeah, people don't even know Mac's there, but it's a great thing. That gym is really cool. It's really cool.
It's very nice.
And got a lot of great programs. I just had a thing with my mom where she's confused about her medications and who pays for what. She called and got it all worked out like in 20 minutes on the phone. They were just so helpful. And it's a great service they provide over there.
And, they're very good at getting the word out, promoting themselves as well. I teach an aging course every spring now at SU as part of my load. And every year, several people from MAC are happy to come and just talk to our students about the needs of older people.
Right.
So.
Right. And you mentioned Coastal Hospice. It might be one of my favorite nonprofits. And it's one of those things I would read about it for years, didn't understand it. Then I went through Coastal Hospice with my grandmother and my father both. And then suddenly you realize how really important it is and how committed these people are and what a tremendous service they do.
Oh, it's a huge asset in this whole region, really, Coastal Hospice is.
So what's your favorite show of all time?
It's really hard to answer that. When there's 300 to choose from.
Right.
And to be honest, I feel like so many of the shows go very well. There's several physicians and practitioners that come back. They're eager to come back because they want to share knowledge with the viewers to help people improve their health. So it's hard to say, because I've just done so many with so many great people.
So my favorite shows are when you're out and about, like when you're at the Simulation Center. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we did that last year. We're trying to promote the fact that we have this state-of-the-art simulation center at SU on the campus, right there on Pine Bluff, and it's just a great resource for the community, not just for our students, but for other universities or the hospital to use or doctors' practices and so forth, that you can actually simulate, various situations and so forth. And one of our big things we've done of late, several faculty have gotten grants on this, is the use of the standardized patient. It's especially useful in psychiatric nursing, where a student can get comfortable with communication strategies in a non-threatening environment.
Interesting.
Yeah, we employ actors that come in their spare time and pretend to have various conditions. Well, the one thing I'm really proud of is, I do a lot of work with Alzheimer's disease and education. So I developed a toolkit with a colleague, and we had students practice interactions with Alzheimer's patients. And as you may or may not know, they can have a variety of problems across the board. They can be depressed, they can be agitated, they can have hallucinations and paranoia. So I thought it was like a perfect scenario in a way, because these actors love doing it, because they could kind of go down different roads with it versus saying, you're going to be a patient suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome. So I still do those, and I do them in the classroom setting now, because we have a lot of other great standardized patient projects going on at the university school of nursing, I should say.
Right.
We're now school of nursing.
Right. So are there a lot of people like me who are like watching the show and are really affected by it? And do they tell you? I mean, do you get a lot of feedback on like that show really helped me?
I do. Believe it or not, the place where I get the most comments or feedback is the grocery store.
It's same with here.
Giant, Acme, whatever. I'm walking through there. A lot of people will stop and say, hey, I saw your program on such and such. It was really good. Or a lot of people just recognize me. They look at me like I know you from somewhere.
Right.
And I'm like, do you channel surf or do you watch Pac 14 and focus on health? So.
Yeah, but it's
gratifying.
It's a real good that you're
It
doing.
is.
I mean, in terms, just for me, it's very enlightening, and it's a real good. I think you're doing the community a real service with this.
Well, thank you. It's one of the reasons I got into nursing. I've just always been interested in health and promoting health, and the education piece is so important.
So if I want to watch Focus on Health, when is it on? When are the new episodes?
Well, the new programs premiere usually every Thursday at 7 p.m., and then I believe every night at 7 p.m. A program is showing a focus on health. So,
Right. And then what show follows your show?
yes, I'm saving your show, but I think 101's been on longer than I have. Correct? Not you as the host.
I have
but
no idea.
Phil Tillman,
Yeah.
I believe. I mean, he
He
had
did
been
it for
doing
15 years.
I know, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 17 now. It's crazy.
So what should we look for in the next 300 episodes?
Craig and I just have a great partnership, and we're just always excited and looking for new ideas and new programs. And as I said, now that it's on YouTube, I think it's really added to the feeling that we are, making a difference in people's health and so forth.
She's Dr. Mary D. Bartolo from Focus on Health, and we're thrilled that she was with us here today. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's nice being in this chair. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent Newspaper, another edition of 101 right here on Pac 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support Pac 14 and one-on-one. We'd encourage every business to support Pac 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.